Learning a new language can feel like standing at the edge of a big mountain. The path ahead looks long, and sometimes it's hard to see the top. But remember, every big journey begins with just one step. You don't need to run, just take one step at a time. Imagine this. A young man named Pavel, who lived in a small village in Eastern Europe, dreamed of speaking English. Every day, he saw people on TV speaking English and he thought, I wish I could do that. But Pavel didn't have many books. His family didn't have much money. Still, he didn't give up. He started with the very basics, learning the alphabet. Little by little, he moved forward, and now Pavel speaks English every day. He travels the world and talks to people from different countries. His story shows that no matter where you come from, learning English is possible step by step. Or think about Arya from Thailand. She grew up in a small town and there weren't many English speakers around her. But Arya had a dream. She wanted to become a nurse in a big hospital. She knew that to do that, she had to speak English well. First, it was very hard. She made mistakes. But Arya kept going. She practiced every day. And today, she works with doctors and patients from all over the world. She is proud of what she has achieved. And so should you be. When you start learning English, it might feel difficult. Sometimes you will make mistakes, and that's okay. Mistakes are part of the journey. What matters is that you keep going. Every word you learn, every sentence you say, brings you closer to your goal. This video is made for someone who wants to learn English step by step. You don't need to know everything today, and that's perfectly fine. We will go slow, we will practice together, and we will grow together. Learning English is like building a house. First step is always the hardest. But when you put in the time, when you stay focused, you will see the results. Imagine yourself speaking English with confidence. Imagine yourself traveling, working, and meeting new people in English. It's not a dream, it's a goal that can come true. So, are you ready to begin this journey with us? Remember, you don't need to be perfect. Just start. And little by little, you will grow stronger, smarter, and more confident. Every journey begins with one small step, and today you are taking that step. Let's get started. Section 2. Setting real goals and expectations. So, you've made the decision to learn English. Congratulations. But, wait a second. Before we start running, let's slow down and think for a moment. Imagine this. Javier from Brazil, a man with big dreams but no idea how to start learning English. He had a goal. I want to work in a big company in the United States. Sounds like a great dream, right? Well, Javier thought the same. But the first day of his journey didn't go as he planned. He opened his English book, stared at the first page, and boom, a flood of new words and strange letters. What is this? He thought. I don't understand anything. He quickly closed the book and hid it under his bed. Can you relate to Javier? Don't worry, we've all been there. It's totally normal to feel confused or even a bit scared at the beginning. But guess what? You are stronger than you think. You have what it takes to succeed. Key is to set realistic goals and start from the basics. Here's the secret. Don't expect to be fluent in 1 week. That's like expecting to become a world champion runner after running for just 1 day. Takes time. Now let's look at Nina from Hungary. When Nina first started, her goal was simple. I want to order a coffee in English without feeling embarrassed. Sounds easy, right? But when Nina went to a cafe and tried to speak English, her words got stuck. She said, I want coffee. Please. The barista looked at her and said, "A what?" Nina wanted to crawl into a hole. But she didn't give up. Instead, she laughed at herself, ordered a simple coffee, and said, "Next time I'll get it right." Now, Nina can order coffee in 5 languages and even ask for sugar and milk in English. So, what do you learn from Nina's story? Set small, achievable goals and celebrate each little victory. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. The goal isn't to be perfect today, it's to improve little by little. Here's a secret tip. Every time you reach a small goal, reward yourself. Maybe it's watching your favorite show in English or eating a yummy chocolate bar. I'm not saying chocolate makes you fluent, but it helps, right? Whatever it is, celebrate your wins, no matter how small. Now, let's make a simple plan. Here's how you can start. Goal 1. Learn 5 new words every day. Easy, right? 5 words every single day. Maybe you'll learn cat, dog, car, apple, and book today. Next week, you'll know 35 words. Goal 2. Practice a simple sentence. For example, this is my book, or I like coffee. Even if your first sentence sounds funny, it's okay. English is a funny language anyway. Goal 3. Try to listen to English for 10 minutes a day. Watch a video, a short story, or even cartoons. The more you listen, the easier it gets. Trust me, you'll start picking up words faster than you think. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes. If you say something wrong, just laugh and try again. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become. And always remember, every mistake is a step forward. Think of your mistakes as your superpowers. Every time you fail, you're learning something new, and that's what makes you stronger. So, are you ready to make your first goal? Take a deep breath and start with something small. You don't have to run the race right away. Take your time. You've got this. Section 3. Starting with simple words and sentences. Now that you've set your goals, it's time to take action. Are you ready? Let's dive in and start learning words and making sentences. This is where the fun begins. Picture this. Hiroshi, a young man from Japan, had just started learning English. He thought, how am I going to learn all these words? He looked at his list and saw words like apple, dog, house, and happy. First, Hiroshi thought these words were easy. I can learn them in a day, he said. And guess what? He was right. Hiroshi practiced saying each word every day, and he even made a little game out of it. How many times can I say the word apple in 1 minute? He got 30, by the way. Soon he knew so many words that he could build simple sentences. For example, I have an apple. The dog is big. This is my house. It was easy, right? Hiroshi didn't have to memorize long, complicated sentences. He started with short, simple ones. And that's the secret. The best part? He didn't just stop there. He practiced these sentences every day. Hiroshi had a goal to say one sentence every day. By the end of the month, he could speak simple sentences like, I am happy, I like dogs, and my house is big. He felt great about his progress. Now let's talk about you. Don't worry if you think you don't know enough words yet. The good news is you only need a few words to start talking. Let's start with just 5 words. That's it. Here they are. Cat, dog, book, water, friend. These are simple words, but they are also the building blocks of sentences. You can make a sentence like, I have a cat, or my friend likes books, or I drink water. The more you use these words, the more comfortable you will feel. But here's the fun part. Are you ready? Here comes the challenge. You have to make a sentence every day. It's like a mini game. Try saying things like, I am learning English, or this is my dog. Start small and don't worry if your sentences aren't perfect. The important thing is to practice. The more you practice, the more confident you will become. It's okay to make mistakes. Just laugh and keep going. Challenge time. Here's a fun challenge. Try making 5 simple sentences in English today. And don't worry about being perfect. Just focus on speaking and using the words you know. You can say, I have a dog. This is my book. I like water. My friend is kind. I am happy. When you do this, you're building your confidence and getting better at English every day. And remember, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are your best teachers. The more mistakes you make, the more you'll learn. One last thing. Don't forget to practice listening. Listen to simple English podcasts, watch videos, or listen to English songs. The more you listen, the more you'll understand. This will help you build your speaking skills too. Section 4. Listening and speaking with confidence. Alright, now that you've learned a few words and can make simple sentences, it's time to take it up a notch. Are you ready to listen to English and start speaking more confidently? Trust me, this part will be exciting and maybe a little funny too. Let's take Sophia, a woman from Spain who had a big dream. She wanted to travel to the United States and talk to people without feeling nervous. The problem? She was terrified of speaking English in front of others. She would freeze whenever someone spoke to her in English. What if I say something wrong? She thought. One day, Sophia was at a party. She was talking to her friend Marta, who had been learning English for a while. Marta said, Sophia, you know, it's okay to make mistakes. Just try speaking. It's the best way to learn. Sophia thought, maybe she's right. So Sophia took a deep breath and said, I like pizza. Guess what? It was not perfect, but it was a start. Marta smiled and said, That's great, Sophia. Next time try saying, I really like pizza. You're doing awesome. Sophia felt proud of herself. From that moment, Sophia started speaking English every chance she got. She didn't worry about making mistakes. The more she spoke, the more confident she became. And guess what? A few months later, Sophia traveled to the United States and spoke English with people she met there. Do you see what happened? Sophia was able to speak confidently because she practiced, even when she was scared. And that's exactly what you need to do. You need to practice listening and speaking regularly, and don't worry about mistakes. Mistakes are just signs that you're learning. Your listening practice. Now let's talk about listening. You might think, I can't understand English when people speak quickly. And it's true at first, English can sound fast and confusing. But don't worry. We all start from somewhere. Start by listening to simple, slow English. There are so many great resources out there, like English podcasts or short YouTube videos. Try to listen to simple sentences and repeat them out loud. Here's an easy exercise you can do every day. Listen to a sentence. For example, I have a book. Repeat the sentence out loud. Try to say it just like the speaker. Pause the audio and say the sentence without listening. This will help you practice speaking. You'll notice that the more you listen and speak, the easier it becomes. It's like learning to ride a bike. At first, you fall a few times, but soon you're riding like a pro. Power of speaking. Here's another tip. Try speaking even if no one is listening. I know it sounds a bit strange, right? But it works. You can practice speaking in front of a mirror like you're talking to your best friend. Or even talk to your pet, they're great listeners. For example, you can say things like, Hello, my name is. What's your name? I'm learning English. I like to read books. This is my favorite food, pizza. Even if no one is around, just practice. Speaking out loud will help you feel more comfortable and confident. Challenge: speak for 5 minutes a day. Now I'm going to give you a fun challenge. Try speaking for 5 minutes every day. It doesn't matter if you're saying simple sentences or repeating something you heard. Just speak. Set a timer for 5 minutes and talk about your day, your favorite food, or anything that makes you happy. The more you speak, the better you'll get. If you can't think of what to say, here are a few ideas. Talk about your family. Talk about your favorite hobbies. Describe your room. Talk about what you did today. Don't be shy. The more you speak, the more fluent you'll become. Soon, speaking English will feel like second nature. Power of listening and speaking together. Remember, listening and speaking go hand in hand. When you listen, you understand how sentences sound, and when you speak, you practice using those sentences. So, don't just focus on one, do both. Listen, then speak. Listen, then speak. And guess what? If you keep practicing, one day you'll be talking to someone in English without even thinking about it. Imagine how amazing that will feel. So get started today. Put on an English video, repeat the sentences, and speak out loud. You'll be amazed at how much progress you'll make. Section 5. Writing and expanding your vocabulary. Congratulations! You've learned to speak, listen, and feel confident in English. Now it's time to take your skills to the next level and improve your writing and vocabulary. Are you ready? Great. Let's dive in. Let's talk about Gabriella, a young woman from Colombia. Gabriella had a dream. She wanted to write a letter in English to her best friend Maria, who was living in the United States. But Gabriella had a big problem. Her vocabulary was small and she didn't know how to express everything she wanted to say. She thought, how can I write a letter with just a few words? So Gabriella decided to expand her vocabulary little by little. She didn't try to memorize 100 words in one day because that's impossible, right? Instead, Gabriella learned 5 new words every day. Just 5. Here are the first 5 words she learned. Excited, feeling very happy about something. Important, something that matters a lot. Beautiful, something that looks very nice. Delicious, tasting very good. Journey, a long trip from one place to another. After learning these words, Gabriella tried to use them in sentences. For example, I am excited to visit you in the United States. It's important to practice English every day. The food in Colombia is delicious. I had a beautiful journey to the mountains last year. Gabriella didn't stop there. She made a new goal, to write 1 short paragraph in English every day. First, her paragraphs were simple like this. Dear Maria, I hope you are doing well. I am very excited to visit you soon. Last week I went to the beach. It was beautiful and the water was delicious. I can't wait to see you. Love, Gabriella. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. The more Gabriella wrote, the better she got. And guess what? A few months later, her letters were full of rich vocabulary and long, beautiful sentences. So, how can you start expanding your vocabulary and writing like Gabriella? It's easier than you think. Here's how. Step 1. Learn new words every day. Start with 3-5 words a day. Don't rush. It's better to learn words deeply than to learn many words quickly. You can write them down, make flashcards, or even create a fun story with them. Here are some easy ways to practice new words. Write sentences. Try to use your new words in sentences like, this food is delicious, or I'm excited to meet my friends tomorrow. Use visuals. Find pictures online that match the words. For example, when you learn the word mountain, find a picture of a mountain and write, this is a mountain. Create stories. Try writing a small story with your new words. You can use just 5 words, but create something fun. For example, last weekend I went to the beach. It was a beautiful day. The sea was delicious. I'm so excited for my next journey. I can't wait to see the mountains. Step 2. Keep a vocabulary journal. Having a vocabulary journal is like having your own personal dictionary. Every time you learn a new word, write it down in your journal. Add the meaning, a picture, and a sentence example. This helps you remember it better. For example, word journey, meaning a long trip from one place to another. Sentence, my journey to the city was very long but fun. The more you write, the more words you'll remember, and your writing will become more exciting. Step 3. Practice writing every day. Key to improving your writing is practice. Write something small every day. Maybe it's a short story, a description of your day, or even a letter to a friend like Gabriella did. Here's a simple exercise. Write a paragraph about your day in English. Use new words you've learned. Don't worry if your sentences aren't perfect. The important thing is to practice. For example, you can write about your morning. This morning I woke up early. It was a beautiful day and I was so excited to start the day. Your favorite food. Pizza is the most delicious food. I love to eat it with my friends. Start with short sentences and work your way up to longer paragraphs. Challenge. Write for 10 minutes every day. Here's a fun challenge for you. Write for 10 minutes every day. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just focus on expressing yourself. Write a story, a description, or even just a list of what you did today. The goal is to make writing a habit. Through a week, read what you wrote. You'll be amazed at how much you've improved. Section 6. Reading and understanding simple texts. You've learned to speak, listen, and write in English. Now it's time to improve your reading and understanding of English texts. Are you excited? Because trust me, this part is going to be a lot of fun. Let's talk about Carlos, a young man from Brazil. Carlos was passionate about traveling, and he wanted to read books in English to learn more about different cultures and countries. But there was a problem. Every time he picked up a book, the words seemed like a mystery. They were long, difficult, and confusing. He would stare at the page for minutes and feel lost. How will I ever understand this? He thought. But instead of giving up, Carlos decided to start with simple texts. He didn't try to read big, difficult books right away. No. Carlos understood that he needed to start small. So he picked a children's book with easy words and short sentences. The first book Carlos read was called The Adventure of Little Fox. It was about a little fox who wanted to find his way home. The sentences were simple and the words were not too hard. At first, Carlos didn't understand every word, but he was not afraid to guess the meaning of unfamiliar words. He would look at the pictures, think about the story, and try to understand the meaning of the words. Here's an example from the book. Little Fox was lost in the forest. He saw a big tree. The tree was tall and strong. He thought, maybe I can find my way home. Even though Carlos didn't know every word, he was able to understand the story because he used his imagination and the pictures. The key is, don't worry if you don't understand every single word. Focus on the general meaning and the big picture. Step 1. Start with simple texts. You don't have to read difficult novels right away. Start with easy stories or children's books with simple words. Picture books or comic books are also great choices. They give you lots of visual clues that help you understand the meaning of new words. For example, here's a short passage that's simple but interesting. One day, Tim the cat went to the park. It was sunny and warm. He played with a ball. The ball was blue. Tim had so much fun. This is easy to understand, and you can also guess the meaning of the new words by looking at the pictures. You can also practice reading sentences like this aloud to improve your speaking skills. Step 2. Guess the meaning of new words. When you see a new word, don't panic. Instead of running to a dictionary every time, try to guess the meaning. Look at the words around it. What do you think the word means from the context? Look for clues in the sentence and the pictures. For example, Tim the cat went to the park. It was sunny and warm. You don't know what sunny means? Look at the picture. Maybe the sun is shining and that's the clue. He played with the ball. The ball was blue. You don't know what ball means? Picture might show a round object that Tim is playing with. This way, you don't always need a dictionary. You can learn new words by connecting them to the story or pictures. Step 3. Read every day. To improve your reading skills, read something in English every day. Doesn't have to be long. Just a short story, a few paragraphs, or even a fun blog post. The goal is to practice regularly. Here's a 10-minute reading exercise you can do. Pick a short story or a passage. Start with something simple like a children's book or a website for beginners. Read the first paragraph slowly and try to understand what it means. Write down any new words you don't know and try to guess their meaning. Read the paragraph again and see if you understand more of it now. By reading for just 10 minutes a day, you will see a huge improvement in your reading skills in a short time. Step 4. Read aloud. Here's a fun way to practice. Read out loud. This is a great way to practice pronunciation and fluency. When you read aloud, you can hear how the sentences sound, and this will help you speak more naturally. For example, read this out loud. The cat is very happy. He loves to play in the park with his friends. They run, jump, and laugh. If you read aloud every day, you will start to feel more confident and fluent. Challenge: read and summarize. Here's a fun challenge. Read one short story or article every day and then write a small summary of what you read. Could be just a few sentences. This will help you practice your reading comprehension and writing skills at the same time. You can even try this. Read a story about animals. Write, "This story is about a cat and its adventures in the park." You don't have to write a lot, just a short summary. But remember, the more you practice reading and summarizing, the better you will become. Section 7. Speaking practice, having real conversations. Are you ready to speak English confidently? Speaking is one of the most fun parts of learning a language. It's where you get to connect with real people and express yourself. But don't worry if you feel a little nervous. It's totally normal. Let's meet Lynn, a young woman from Vietnam. Lynn loved watching English movies and TV shows, and she wanted to speak just like the characters in those shows. But when she tried to speak in English, she felt scared. She was afraid of making mistakes, and she thought, "What if people laugh at me?" But Lynn didn't give up. She decided to practice speaking English every day, and guess what? She became much better. Here's how she did it. Step 1. Start with simple conversations. First step to speaking English is keeping it simple. Don't worry about speaking perfectly. The most important thing is to start talking. Start by practicing everyday phrases that you can use in simple conversations. Lynn began with these basic phrases. Hello. How are you? What's your name? Where are you from? I like learning English. Can you help me? She practiced these phrases out loud, saying them to her mirror or to her friends, even if they didn't understand. It didn't matter. The goal was to get used to the sounds and rhythm of the language. Step 2. Find a conversation partner. Lynn wasn't alone in her learning journey. She found a conversation partner, someone who was also learning English. Tomas was from Brazil and they became good friends. They agreed to talk to each other in English for 15 minutes every day. It didn't matter if they made mistakes, the important thing was to practice together. They would talk about simple topics like, what did you have for breakfast today? What's your favorite color? How was your weekend? By practicing together every day, Lynn started feeling more comfortable speaking, even when she made mistakes. I make mistakes, but I'm still learning, she would tell herself. Step 3. Practice speaking out loud. Even if you don't have a conversation partner, you can still practice speaking on your own. Don't be afraid to speak out loud, even if you're by yourself. The more you practice speaking, the more confident you'll become. For example, Lynn would talk to herself in the mirror every morning. Hi, Lynn. How are you today? Describe what she saw around her. This is a big blue chair. It's very comfortable. Repeat sentences from her favorite TV shows like, I love this movie, or let's go to the park. At first, it felt silly to talk alone, but soon Lynn noticed something amazing. Her confidence grew. Step 4. Listen to native speakers. One of the best ways to improve your speaking is to listen to native speakers. This can be through podcasts, YouTube videos, or even TV shows. Lynn did this every day. She listened to her favorite English podcasts like Learn English with Movies, where they would discuss movie scenes in English. By listening to these native speakers, Lynn learned how to sound more natural. She started to imitate their rhythm, intonation, and even the way they used expressions. For example, when someone said, I'm so excited for this, Lynn started using it in her own conversations. I'm so excited to meet my new friend. Step 5. Record yourself. Here's a fun and helpful tip. Record yourself speaking. It can feel weird at first, but recording helps you hear yourself and notice mistakes. Lynn did this all the time. She would record short sentences like, Today is a beautiful day. I am learning English and I feel great. After listening to the recordings, Lynn would ask herself, what can I improve? What do I sound good at? Recording yourself also helps you track your progress so you can see how much you're improving over time. Step 6. Have fun with speaking. The best part of practicing speaking is that it can be fun. Don't think of it as a boring task. Turn it into an exciting challenge. For example, play role-playing games. Pretend you are a character in a movie and speak in English. Maybe you're a shopkeeper talking to a customer or a traveler asking for directions. Sing English songs. Find your favorite songs in English and sing along. It's a great way to improve your pronunciation and rhythm. The more you enjoy practicing, the easier it will be to speak confidently. Plus, speaking every day will help you become fluent faster. Challenge: have a 10-minute English conversation every day. Here's the ultimate challenge. Have a 10-minute conversation in English every day for the next week. You can talk to a friend, a family member, or even practice by yourself. Find a topic you enjoy, like movies, food, or travel. Questions and try to answer them. Don't worry about mistakes, just speak. By the end of the week, you'll be amazed at how much your speaking skills have improved. Section 8. Writing practice, expressing your ideas in English. Are you ready to start writing in English? Writing is one of the best ways to practice grammar, vocabulary, and sentence structure. Plus, it's super fun. Just imagine, you can express your thoughts and share your ideas with the world in English. Let me tell you about Kumi, a young woman from Japan. Kumi had always loved writing stories, but she was afraid to write in English. She felt nervous about making mistakes in her grammar and vocabulary. But one day, Kumi decided to face her fear. She made a goal to write one small paragraph every day in English. And guess what? She became really good at it. Here's how she did it. Step 1. Start with simple sentences. First step in writing is to keep it simple. Don't try to write long, complex paragraphs right away. Start with simple sentences that express one clear idea. For example, I love cats. My name is Kumi. I am learning English every day. Kumi started with sentences like these, and soon she felt more comfortable expressing herself in writing. It's all about taking small steps. One sentence at a time. Step 2. Write short paragraphs. Once you feel comfortable with simple sentences, it's time to build them into short paragraphs. You don't have to write long essays, just a few sentences about a topic you like. For example, my favorite animal. I love animals, especially cats. They are very cute and funny. I have 2 cats at home. Their names are Luna and Leo. They love to play with toys and sleep all day. This is a short and simple paragraph. But it helps Kumi practice using complete sentences, punctuation, and vocabulary. She didn't worry if she made mistakes, she just kept writing. Step 3. Keep a daily journal. One of the best ways to improve your writing is to write in a journal every day. It doesn't have to be long, just a few sentences about what happened during your day. For example, my day. Today was a great day. I went to the park with my friends. We played basketball and ate ice cream. After that, we went to the beach. It was a sunny day and I had so much fun. Kumi started doing this every day. She would write about her activities, her feelings, or anything she wanted to share. Writing about everyday life helps you practice using common vocabulary and makes it easier to speak about these things in English too. Step 4. Use your imagination. Writing can also be fun when you use your imagination. Why not try writing a short story or a fantasy adventure? For example, Kumi wrote a short story about a cat who could fly. The Flying Cat. Once upon a time, there was a cat named Mimi. The Mimi was special because she could fly. She would fly above the clouds and visit all the birds in the sky. One day, she flew to a castle and met a king. The king said, "Mimi, you are the bravest cat in the world." Kumi had a lot of fun writing these stories. And the best part? She didn't worry about making mistakes. She just focused on being creative. Step 5. Focus on grammar and vocabulary. While writing, it's important to pay attention to grammar and vocabulary. But don't stress too much. If you make mistakes, that's okay. Writing gives you a chance to practice and correct your mistakes. For example, Kumi focused on learning verb tenses and subject-verb agreement. She would write something like, "I like ice cream." Present simple. Yesterday I ate ice cream. Past simple. Tomorrow I will eat ice cream. Future simple. By writing sentences with different tenses, she started getting better at using them in conversation too. Step 6. Get feedback. One of the best ways to improve your writing is to get feedback from others. Whether it's a teacher, a friend, or even an online language partner, asking for feedback helps you see where you can improve. When Kumi shared her writing with her friend Tomas, he gave her advice. "Your sentences are great. But remember, it's I have 2 cats, not I has 2 cats." With feedback like this, Kumi started correcting her mistakes and improving faster. Remember, feedback is a tool for learning, not something to be afraid of. Challenge: write a short story. Here's your challenge. Write a short story in English. It can be about anything, maybe an adventure, a funny moment, or a simple story about your day. Try to use the new words and grammar you've learned. You can even add pictures to make it more fun. Start with a simple introduction. Who is the story about? Describe what happens next. What's the problem? How do they solve it? End with a conclusion. What happens at the end? By writing a short story, you'll practice grammar, vocabulary, and creativity all at once. Section 9. Expanding your vocabulary, learning words and using them effectively. Ready to learn more words? Building your vocabulary is super important because the more words you know, the easier it is to express yourself in English. And don't worry, you don't need to learn hundreds of words in one day. It's better to learn a few words every day and use them in real situations. Let me tell you about Carlos, a young man from Argentina. Carlos loved watching movies in English, but there was a problem. He didn't understand many words. He felt frustrated because he couldn't fully enjoy the movies or talk about them with his friends. But then Carlos came up with a plan to learn new words every day, and guess what? He became fluent faster than he ever imagined. Here's how he did it. Step 1. Learn words in context. Carlos learned that the best way to learn new words is by seeing them used in real situations. That means not just memorizing the word, but understanding how to use it in a sentence. For example, Carlos learned the word adventure by watching his favorite movie about traveling around the world. In the movie, the characters kept talking about their adventures. Carlos learned the meaning of the word and then practiced using it. I want to go on an adventure. Every trip is a new adventure for me. He didn't just memorize adventure. He learned how to use it in different sentences. Step 2. Use flashcards. Carlos also started using flashcards to learn new words. He would write the word on one side of the card and the meaning or a picture on the other side. It's a fun and effective way to learn vocabulary because you can keep testing yourself. For example, Carlos made flashcards with words like delicious, meaning tasting very good, beautiful, meaning nice to look at, exciting, meaning causing excitement. He would review them every day, and after a few weeks, Carlos knew many new words. Step 3. Group words by theme. One clever way to learn vocabulary is by grouping words by themes. This helps you remember them better because the words are connected in your mind. Carlos grouped his words by different topics like food, pizza, sandwich, pasta; travel, airplane, passport, beach; feelings, happy, sad, excited. By learning words this way, Carlos was able to use them together when talking about food, travel, or feelings. It was much easier than learning random words. Step 4. Learn synonyms and antonyms. Another fun way to expand your vocabulary is by learning synonyms, words with similar meanings, and antonyms, words with opposite meanings. This way, you don't just learn one word, you learn a whole family of words. For example, synonym for happy, joyful, excited, content. Antonym for big, small, tiny, little. Carlos started using these words in his sentences. I feel so happy today. My dog is very small, but he's very cute. By using synonyms and antonyms, Carlos made his English more varied and interesting. Step 5. Practice using new words. Now that Carlos had learned a lot of new words, the next step was to use them in real conversations. Every day, he practiced using his new words with his friends, family, and even on his own. For example, when Carlos wanted to tell his friend about a movie, he would say, "The movie was so exciting. I loved the adventure and the ending was amazing. I ate the most delicious pizza today. It was so big." Carlos learned that the more he used new words, the more natural they felt in his speech. And guess what? The words started to stick in his memory, and he didn't forget them anymore. Step 6. Read, watch, and listen to English content. Carlos also realized that the best way to learn new words is to be surrounded by English every day. So he started watching English movies, reading books, and listening to podcasts. He loved reading books with simple English, like short stories or easy novels. Whenever he found a new word, he would write it down, look it up, and try to use it in a sentence. Step 7. Review and repeat. Learning vocabulary isn't just about learning new words, it's also about remembering them. Carlos made sure to review his vocabulary regularly. He would look back at his flashcards, read his journal entries, and repeat the words he learned in conversations. By doing this, the words stayed fresh in his memory. Challenge: learn 5 new words every day. Here's a challenge for you. Learn 5 new words every day. Write them down in a notebook or make flashcards, then try to use them in sentences. The more you practice, the faster your vocabulary will grow. Pick a theme. Choose a theme like food, travel, or feelings. Learn 5 new words related to that theme. Practice using them in your conversations or writing. By the end of the week, you'll know 35 new words. Section 10. Understanding Basic Grammar, the Foundation of Fluency. Okay, let's talk about grammar. You may be thinking, grammar is boring and difficult. But wait, don't worry. Grammar is like the rules of a game. When you learn the rules, the game becomes much easier and more fun to play. And the same goes for English. Once you understand the rules, speaking and writing in English will be a lot easier. Step 1. Learn simple sentence structure. In English, a basic sentence usually has 3 parts: a subject, a verb, and an object. For example, I subject, eat verb, pizza object. It's important to start with simple sentences and practice using them. You can make your sentences more interesting by adding descriptive words like adjectives and adverbs. For example, I subject, eat verb, delicious, adjective, pizza object, quickly, adverb. You can practice creating your own sentences like this. The more you practice, the easier it will be to build more complex sentences later on. Step 2. Use basic tenses. Now let's talk about verb tenses. In English, there are different verb tenses to talk about when something happens: past, present, future. But don't worry. You don't need to learn them all at once. Let's start with just a few. Present simple, for things that are true all the time or happen regularly. Example: I live in Brazil. She plays soccer every day. Past simple, for things that happened in the past. Example: I visited the beach last weekend. He studied English yesterday. Future simple, for things that will happen in the future. Example: I will travel to Paris next year. She will start her new job tomorrow. Step 3. Understand question and negative forms. In English, we also need to know how to ask questions and make negative sentences. Here's how we do it. Questions. To ask a question, we often use a helping verb like do, does, or did before the subject. Example: do you like ice cream? Did she go to the party? Negatives. To make a sentence negative, we use not with the helping verb. Example: I do not like ice cream. He did not go to the party. Step 4. Practice using prepositions. Prepositions are small words that help show relationships between things. They tell us where or when something happens. Some common prepositions are in, on, at, under, above, next to, between, etc. For example, the book is on the table. We will meet at 3 o'clock. My cat is under the chair. You can practice making your own sentences with different prepositions to get used to them. Step 5. Use conjunctions to connect ideas. Conjunctions are words like and, but, or, and because. These words help us connect ideas in a sentence. For example, I like ice cream and cake. She is tired but happy. I stayed home because it was raining. Using conjunctions helps make your sentences longer and more interesting. You can try connecting ideas to make your sentences more creative. Exercise: build your own sentences. Here's a fun exercise to practice grammar. Create 5 sentences using the grammar rules we learned. Try to use different tenses, prepositions, and conjunctions in your sentences. For example, I eat pizza every Friday. She visited the museum last weekend. They will go to the park tomorrow. I am not tired because I slept well. We went to the beach and swam in the ocean. When you practice making sentences like this, it will become easier to speak and write in English. Challenge: write a short story. Now, here's your challenge. Write a short story using simple sentences and the grammar rules you've learned. You can talk about your daily routine, your favorite activities, or something exciting that happened in the past. The more you write, the more comfortable you'll feel with grammar. Now that we've covered the essential steps for learning English, including simple sentences, grammar, and effective practice methods, it's time to get ready for big successes. Remember, there's no easy or quick path to learning a language, but when you start and move forward step by step, success will definitely be within your reach. Even if it feels like there's a long way to go at first, the most important thing is to practice every day and learn from your mistakes. Nothing can stop you. Believe in yourself and never stop learning. Maybe today you learn one word, but that one word could change your world in the future. Every day you are learning, you are progressing toward your goals. Learning a language is your journey to a whole new world. With every word you learn, you open a new door to endless possibilities. So take one step forward every day and never doubt that you can do it. Remember, all success begins with a decision. So decide now that you want to learn English and fear nothing. You are stronger than you think. Learning a language is not just a phase, but a thrilling and exciting journey that gives you the opportunity to connect with the world and create new opportunities. Be brave, keep going, and know that every day you learn more, you are one step closer to your goals.